The new design tool revolution is now here. 2020 was an interesting year when it comes to new tools cropping up, new features and so much more. But 2021 is what will define the next 5 to 10 years of the design tools. Some of these tools do things that I thought were impossible until 2021. I'll be dividing this video into two very crucial parts. The first part will include me showing you some very interesting new tools which have cropped up, which will change the way you look at design tools. The second part is where I will explain my belief or my prediction for 2021 and 2022 of where design tools are going, what kind of design tools we're going to see next, and maybe even give you a sneak peek based on the conversation I've had with different design tools and companies in the past few weeks. Alright, so to begin with, we have Rive. Now, Rive is a great alternative for something like After Effects built into your browser. It has all the timeline features that you will find on a tool like After Effects. It has layers much like Adobe software. And the best part is it also has these collaborative features, so you can bring in other collaborators or animators to animate alongside you. The most interesting part is that you can actually create UI animations and things like that inside this. For example, if I drag down this phone here, as you can see, there is this nice little refresh animation. Something very new and something very refreshing. I think this is very useful. Something people complain about is that you can't export for apps or web. However, in this case, as you can see, you can export for web, Flutter, C++, both iOS and Android. And the individual plan is completely free. So if you're an individual using this, go ahead, you can. If you want, you can always get their premium subscriptions as well for your team or your company. They have something called community and resources. So if you ever get stuck with anything, if you want to learn this software on how you can make such amazing animations, much like you see in After Effects in your browser, this is very useful. And as you can see, not only do you see the embeddable script, but you can also download it as a Rive file. So you can always use it in your projects as well. Now, this next tool showcases how easy and simple 3D is now in your browser. As you can see, this entire 3D model is built inside your browser. Yes, you can easily rotate it on any axis you want and see how realistic this phone actually looks. The fact that I'm running this on a MacBook and an older MacBook is quite impressive in itself. They also have a lot of pre-built 3D animations. However, the thing that really takes the cake is that they have an inbuilt tool inside the browser that you can run and easily edit these animations yourself. For example, I really like this reveal animation for this phone right here. If I click on this, it will immediately load, and they prefer Google Chrome, but I'm using Edge. You can quickly go ahead and see all these different scenes that they've created and also edit the kind of animations that you want right here. It's much easier than a timeline. So they've actually created a very bare bone kind of library. The tool itself is so easy to learn, just like in Adobe XD, where we have different screens or artboards. You have different artboards with different states of your phone, and the phone itself will then move from one screen to the other like this. You can even add text and images and even more devices. So if you want to add multiple devices, like I've added one here, you can always do that from here. Editing something is so easy. You can either rotate on a 3D axis, just like I'm doing right now. As you can see, this iPad, even though it's weird looking with this iPhone. And at the end, if you like this, whatever you like, you can either export it as a static image, as you can do, or you can export it as an original video. So it can be an MP4 or an image. That's very useful. Now, another incredible tool is called Womp. And since we're talking about 3D advancement in web, this is an incredible example. It's almost as if I created this in Cinema 4D and I've put it onto the web. That is how it seems. Right now, they are only accepting for early access. That means it isn't public yet. But as you can see, I can shift it around. I can do some things like changing the shape and kind of creating things around it. As you can see how I'm editing this eye, even though it looks weird, but I'm not really good at 3D sculpting. But you get the gist of it, and you can see how amazing this is. And even on a very old Mac, this works pretty well. If you're on a better machine, definitely it will work better for you. Again, this shows how amazing 3D tools are even on the web or in your browser, and how powerful things can be. Hoping for the best. Now, if you are looking for a tool which is ready for production, Vectory allows you to create some very complex 3D environments as well as products and stuff like that. It's very similar to Adobe Dimensions, but imagine Adobe Dimensions for your browser. Everything here made on the screen here, everything working here is made inside the browser itself using Vectory. The best part is that you can import assets from other websites and other platforms, 3D assets, and put it into the browser. It will render it for you, and you can always edit it and then finally export it in your favorite formats. They've also introduced a new set of tools called Web AR. As an AR platform, yes, you can create your own AR environments and platforms using Vectory's new set of tools. Now, talking about high fidelity UI prototyping, there is nothing better than a tool that I recently collabed with, and it's called Framer. Framer basically allows you to create some very advanced prototypes. Things you really can't do with tools like XD and Figma, you can do with this. You can literally export your XD or Figma assets and then start animating and designing in this. I have a small course here on YouTube, which you can always check out. It basically allows you to see how to get started with Framer. Otherwise, there are other videos that you can use. See how advanced the prototyping is. You can actually add music, sounds, add Boolean values. So if you click one thing, it will open another thing. There are a lot of plugins also and a lot of features that they've recently introduced. Things like gamepad support, smart components, much like what you see with Figma. So it's really easy to get started with it as well. The best part is it's all available on the web. It's collaborative and it's free. Now, UX Spin is a tool a lot of people don't use. I created a video on this as well, and I was really impressed by one feature which is called code components, which means that you can now add coded components, embed stuff. If you're creating a weather app, you can add a weather API, which actually fetches the real weather in real time. You can even add conditional interactions and expressions. So if somebody enters the wrong password, you can say wrong password. That really makes UI prototyping so much more real. I think for someone who's trying to create very real prototypes which are very close to the final product, UX Spin can be a very good tool to get started with. Also, since we are talking about the future of UI design tools, how can we remove no-code tools from the list? NoCode.tech is like my go-to to find all the different no-code tools for different purposes. There are some which allow you to convert your Figma into an actual application on iOS or Android, or some are there for creating high fidelity wireframes as well. One of my favorite out of these was Bravo Studio. I actually created one video on this. I'll be creating one more. It allows you to convert your Figma designs directly from Figma and just put it onto the App Store with all the ready functionality that is needed. They actually created an Instagram clone with it. That means you can actually interact with photos, add likes, upload your own photos, and so much more with the APIs and the support they have for different websites and platforms. Now, the next generation of tools are tools which are made for everyone. Spline basically brings a lot of 3D animations and 3D assets into your hands, whether you are a UI designer, a graphic designer, or anyone else. They've created a tool which basically works for everyone. It's simple to understand, much like Figma, and it's much less complex as compared to tools like Blender and Cinema 4D. It also has a lot of animation capabilities so that you can animate things like this around for your websites or applications. Alright, so those were pretty amazing. Some of them are still in production and they haven't been released. Some are in beta so you can test them out. And some are complete tools you can just pick up and start using in your normal workflow. Now let's look at what we'll see in the year 2021 to 2022. Due to the pandemic, no-code tools made a huge impact on the way we looked at designs. Now, non-programmers or developers can get a website up just like this. Where it strikes me the most, we are going to see a large shift onto the web. You're going to see major design tools come into your browser, which means you don't have to install a software anymore. Your browser is now powerful enough to run all of these softwares. Now, two pioneers which I think changed the way we look at web tools are Webflow and Figma. They have pretty much gotten into our normal workflows and they are impacting large organizations and individuals. But the next shift is going to be with much more powerful tools which need huge computers to run in your browser. We're talking Cinema 4D like capabilities coming to the browser. Now, maybe not as powerful as Cinema 4D, but definitely has some of the functionality that C4D provides. This is something that has been made possible by technologies like WebGL that has paved way to a bunch of new tools. We saw a lot of tools with timeline animations, much like in After Effects, come into play. I even showed one today in this video. Stream tools like Webflow have also introduced a slew of 3D related functionality where you can actually import, animate 3D elements inside your web pages. There is a reason why 3D has become such a big trend. There needs to be a lot of tools to support it, and the trend is now supporting the tools. We saw this happening with web design, so that translated into no-code tools. We saw this happening with UI design, which converted into things like Adobe XD and Figma. Now with 3D coming to the forefront and animation also getting a lot of importance, animation and 3D tools are the next big revolution. Now, before we move on to the negative aspect, I want to quickly conclude the positive aspects. Great 3D tools which will allow you to do things that you could otherwise only do with tools like Cinema 4D, Blender, and such are now coming to the web with browser support. No-code tools are going to take over. Of course, developers are still going to be relevant, but developers need to also shift to a lot of no-code tools. Just like you see a lot of WordPress developers now, we will now start seeing a lot of no-code developers have no code in their resumes. Now, another revolution is when it comes to AI. A lot of AI capabilities are coming to the web as well as to a lot of new design tools. You can now just have a piece of paper, some wireframes drawn on it, and it instantly converts into UI. Yes, that is possible. I have a video on that. You can always check it out in the description. So basically a lot of positives, to be honest. There's a lot of things that we can conclude from the positive aspects. Now, on to the negatives. Now, even though there are a lot of positive things about this is going to harm the way people look at design tools in general. I get comments on the daily saying that their devices are not good enough to run a certain software. What should they do? Now, web browsers are great, but they also rely a lot on your graphics card, your processor, and also a lot on your RAM because there's so much going on behind the scenes. Don't get me wrong, web-based tools are great and they help us do a lot of things on the go. But a huge percentage of laptops out there are underpowered. Even MacBooks can sometimes not handle a lot of these 3D softwares, especially if they don't have a dedicated graphics card. The market is also going to shift. Just like we don't see the term web design anymore, we might start seeing less of 3D design out there. Now, Amritpal Singh will definitely disagree with. His designs are amazing, don't get me wrong. Now it feels weird. You take a graphics degree from a reputed college, you practice a lot of 3D design, you get into 3D or animation or CGI, and then some kid comes, opens his Google Chrome and starts designing something 3D in his browser. That seems a little demeaning to the art form itself. Now that's just my opinion, to be honest. I find it very useful. I've used it myself, and I can say a lot of these slew of tools are very useful. Now don't worry, these tools are never going to overtake the designers themselves. The designers will definitely learn how to use these tools and will still stay relevant. Again, a paradigm shift for careers and jobs, but people will never be replaced. So at the end of the day, we both can agree to one simple conclusion. These amazing tools will assist us, will bring new possibilities, and even give us a new perspective on things, but they might not change everything. So the revolution is probably in your hands. The way the designers use these tools, the products that come out of these tools. Remember, we don't depend on the design tools, but design tools depend on us on how we use them. So that concludes today's video. If you liked the video, don't forget to thumbs up. That really supports me and the channel, and I bring videos every Monday and Thursday just like I did today. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and keep on watching every single week. Have a great week ahead. Until next time, God bless.